Hello everyone, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today I have a deck profile of Magnamon for you that I'm calling Simple Magna. There is a story behind this. Essentially, I seen a deck profile online of a Black or Greymon list, and it just looked so intriguing to me. I thought, I want to try something similar in one of my own deck profiles, and I think Magna would be the easiest one to do it. So, when we get to the part that makes it in my idea of simple, you'll see. Yes, this deck's about to change pretty much with B23 around the corner. Literally, I think as this video going live, it's the pre-release weekend. And the deck will change, and I've got a few ideas I want to test out and stuff, especially with the new part Black Magna, to maybe give us some level 5s like Rapidmon to go into, so then as our Magna can maybe like trash security and still trigger stuff, deal with bodies and stuff at the same time. There's going to be a lot of testing I want to do, but for now, this is the Magna build I have got going. I'll start off by saying this is in no way meant to be meta. It's meant to be fun, but that being said, it does work rather well, and there is a few minor changes I'd maybe do. Starting off with our eggs, we play 4 of the BT16 Demi-V. This has been the go-to egg for Magna since like BT16. Just all turns, plus 1000 DP if your Digimon has 2 or more colours. So it buffs all of the Magna, it buffs the Magnamon X. It's been the go-to egg, and it would be very hard to ever change this, I feel. On to our level 3s. I'm playing 4 BT21 Vmon. This one's just a no-brainer. It's not a once per turn. Your turn, when you would Digivolve into a Digimon Armor Forming trait, reduce the cost by 1. It's not once per turn. So you're making all your Magnamons cost of 2. If you have the Armor Purge, you can Digivolve again for the cost of 2. It's just a no-brainer to me. Inheritable as well as plus 2000 DP. During your turn to help buff up your stacks a little bit more. So you're swinging for roughly about 10,000 on your as level 4 Magnas, and then getting your DP buffs. That's not really needed too much unless your opponent's got some blockers in the field for your Magna X. Next, I'm running 4 Promo Vmons, again for that reduced Digivolution cost. In order to, if we have a Tamer on the field, it will reduce the cost by 1. But also, the Inheritable is Draw Power. His main effect is a once per turn, but Inheritable Draw Power is not a once per turn when attacking. So if we're on Magna X, swing, swing, draw. We go into a Magna, we have to Armor Purge, Digivolve, Unsuspend, swing, get multiple draws that way. Draw Power is very good for the deck, and even if there was no Tamers in the deck, I'd still run quite a few of these for the Draw Power alone. And our final rookie, I'm running 4 EX1 Vmons. So there's a lot of choices you can do here. You can do Search of Vs and things like that. There's a few choices of Vs you could probably do. I've opted for the EX1 as the inheritable of when you would unsuspend the Gain of Memory. I feel like it just pairs well with as the 2 level 4 Magnus to unsuspend, make that cost potentially a cost of 2 if you've got the Armor Purge. I feel like it pairs well with Magna X, just gaining a memory every turn essentially. Or even maybe helping to keep turn if you've swung with your level 4, Digivolve to Magna X, and that 1 memory gain's helped you keep turn to then swing and get more as we get a bigger buff of the stack. It's my preferred 2 Vmon. There are a lot of other choices you could do here.
Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. That way you never miss a thing.
On to our level 4s. I'm running 4 Structure Deck Magnamons. For the security effect is amazing to Digivolve, and then we have a Vmon in play. As on the field, we can Digivolve and then trigger its one Digivolving effect. Stripping sources is nice, bouncing. Overall, very good Magna, and I think its place will be here to stay for a long time. I cannot wait to combine this with the new Magnamon coming out on BT23 to have double Black Source available to maybe play around with some potential level 5s for the deck to help maybe bring Magnamon to the next level. Next, I'm playing 4 BT8 Magnamons. You may be starting to get a theme here what we mean by simple right at the moment. Everything's been 4 ofs. There's been no slide tech choices or anything, and that idea is going to continue going forward, as you will see. We're playing 4 BT8 Magnas, DP buff, unsuspend on Digivolve, again pairs with our EX1 Vmon, getting DP buff until the end of our opponent's turn to make ourselves stronger for a bigger blocker stack. Overall, very nice. And next, we're playing 4 BT21 Magnas for the unsuspend again, DP minus, the way to kill something that, even if it's got immunity, it can't, like, if it can't be killed by an effect per se, or like it's got anything, like you can DP minus it down, maybe make it smaller enough to the point where it can't block you, or you can kill it this way because the effect protection's got this bypasses. Even though a lot of things these days are just immune to Digimon effects, I know. But still, nice one to have. It unsuspends on Digivolve as well, combining with our EX1 Digimon once again, and for multiple swings. Now we're finally breaking the trend of 4 ofs because we're playing 2 of Chromo Flamedramon. I only own 2 of these, and I would, even if I owned 2 more, I would not run it as a 4 of. Personally, I think 2 is a good, nice choice, just to help flush out the deck, helps Magnamon X. These are 100% optional though. You could drop these for something else if you so wished. I just feel like they help me, so therefore they are here as in my deck. If I was to go up to any more copies, it'd maybe be a 3 of at most. What would I drop? I have no idea. That's where we get into like real technicality things. I'm just trying to keep it simple. We have 2, we'll run 2, everything else is a 4 of. You'll see as we go. On to level 6s, because we don't run any level 5s. And we only run 1 level 6, and it's for Magnamon X antibody from BG16. Just trying to get to him, plain simple. Card that still, like, even though he doesn't do much in today's meta, probably, just him existing in the card game makes people think. In the last few times of playtesting this deck, this build of it anyway, the moment Magna exits the field, the amount of comments I've gotten from people like, I've forgotten this guy even existed, or I've forgotten he was this busted. He really does make me think. Like, his presence in the game still kind of goes, you are still going to play the game my way, and you are going to have to think about how you want to play. It's not just easy swing big body anymore. Especially since, like, some stuff, like, if they get big enough, we're going to do 4 or 5 checks or whatever. We've got piercing, and you just go armor purge. No piercing. And kind of can turn off a lot of strategies that way. Overall, this is one of the decks I do like to play a lot, just because he does kind of force the opponent to play your way once you hit him on the field. But it's just getting him to the field. Well, more so getting him to hand to get him to field is the problem sometimes. But I do like it, and I can't wait to experiment with this deck going into BT23. Next on to Tamers, and I'm only playing 1, and it's 4 Cool Boys from BT20. I wanted a Tamer. I wanted something that was white for something that's coming up later in options for an idea I had. This guy pairs very well with Magna because they're all Royal Knights, so when we Digivolve, we can spend in to draw 1, gain 1. We have a Tamer for our V-mod at that point. Yes, we miss him on scrambles and stuff. There is other choice you can play, but for an idea I had in mind, I figured I'm just going to go Cool Boy. Just keeping it simple, not trying to do anything too fancy, just trying to find stuff that synergizes well, is kind of the overall idea I had with this simple build. On to our option cards, and there is a few to go through. So, starting off with the 1 of Awaken the Golden Knight. We would play it at 4 if we were allowed to, but we're not, so it's a 1 of. And it's one of the few cards, there's only 3 cards in this entire deck that breaks the rule of play it at 4. We've seen one with Flamedramon, this is the second one, Awaken the Golden Knight. If you have a Armor Form Digimon, you can ignore color requirements, and you can Digivolve one of your Digimon to a Magnamon in name. Specifically, one of your Armor Form Digimon to a Magnamon in name, that being it. So you can't Digivolve Magna X into. Security effect is we get to return a Magnamon from our trash to our hand, and then we add this card to our hand as well. So overall, security effects pretty much always going to be locked. On to the third and final card that breaks the rule of play it at 4. 3 Genai's House. So there's a few people out there that are taking like 1 Genai's House, 1 Island of Adventure, or 2 of one of them and 1 of the other. I decided to go 3 on 1. So one thing I've also like to point out, so say if we weren't running this and we'll use it as a Awaken Golden Knight and we play as a 4 of, and we played 4 Golden Knight. If you play 4 or anything, you would only have space for 2 cards at the end, so this is one of the reasons Flamedramon's a 2 of as well, to kind of go cycle back to that real quick. But Genai's House, so this is the reason we play Cool Boy though, as our Tamer. So yes, you can ignore color requirements if you don't have a face of Genai's House in your security already. However, the idea I'm going for is if a Cool Boy's on field, I can then go Genai's House to put itself in security, take a card out, trigger Magnamon if I'm in a position where I can't really swing. Then they go through their turn, Magnamon's immune, they don't do anything, they can't touch security. But they've left me in this awkward position again. Well, if I've got another Genai's House in hand with Cool Boy on field, I now meet color requirements, so at that point it's like, right, okay, we're just going to play this game. So I'll Genai's House to grab the Genai's House from my security back to my hand, to put this Genai's House into security, triggering Magnamon. That way I don't have to face any danger if it comes up. So hence why this is a 3 of. They would probably be Awakened Golden Knights or something like that, who knows. If we actually had access to 4, I have no idea how I'd do this build at that point. But overall, so its security effect is while it's face-up security on your turn, all your level 3 and higher get plus 3000 DP. Then, if it's hitting security, you may play a level 3 from your trash without paying its cost. And then that's just it. So, there's some points where the security effect, it seems nice for Magnamon, and I would like it if I was able to get it further up in security, because there may be one further down could be the security of Magnamon to Digivolve on top of that one we play out, but it's always going to be the bottom one, because it has to go to the bottom. But that's the reason we're doing the bottom one, though, is purely down to the fact of that way we can just keep cycling it if need be. Island Adventure is maybe a better defensive play one, since that's an all turns plus 2000 to your board. But yeah. We're just trying to keep the cycle going to make sure it's constantly immune. Kind of your choice what you want to play here. Now, back into our 4 ofs. This, going into the next few cards, this is what I see. So what you've seen so far of the build, I've seen something similar in the Black or Grey list, where it's just like 4 Agumons, 3 Agumons, 4 of each. Greymons, 12 of each apart from the 1 of. And that's all they're doing, is just keeping it simple. And when it got to the options, there was no different, and they did what we've done here. And it's what really gives me inspiration to do this. So, 4 blue memory boosts to help search the Magnamon, get our memory back, hit insecurity, delay effects, all the good stuff the blue memory boost gives, search top 4. Followed off by 4 mental trainings to, again, find your pieces, maybe find your memory boosts and all that stuff to search even more, find your VMons, find your Magnas. And then 4 blue scrambles. So, this is the idea. This is one of the things I seen in the Blackwall list. They did this. 4 of each of these. And I thought it was nuts. And I decided I'm going to do this with Magna. And I looked at the list and I kept thinking I can cut scramble. And I still would. I'm going to be honest. In playtest, though, having 4 scrambles has been amazing. Insane. This deck just works. I can't explain it. It feels like it shouldn't, though. But this way we're able to recycle our Magnas constantly if they hit trash. If I was to play in level 7s or anything like that, I would probably cut some scrambles. So a friend of mine wants to test the deck and he wants to put some level 7s in, and I'm probably going to cut 2 scrambles. One for a Paladin mode, one for an OmniX, just to try and keep it all blue. And then go from there, see how he wants to test the deck in various ways. I'm going to give him options of more competitive builds out there and have all the cards access. Because the only thing I'm missing from the more competitive builds of Magna is actually an OmniX that he owns. So at that point, it's just like he's going to lend the OmniX for the deck building. But yeah, this is just simple Magna. It's why I wanted to keep it as. So, I hope you've all really enjoyed this really silly idea I had that's been working really well. The short that went out last week was this build of Magna we were playing at locals. But overall, it's been real fun, and a few of our friends now have been going to have been building as we've been calling them simple builds. So Shadow of Laughter, a friend of the channel, he's built what he's called Simple Necromon, and it's just been working. Trevor, he's building a few simple decks and stuff, and it's weird to say, as silly as the idea sounds, it's just been working, and we're not quite sure why. But it just has been, and there is probably way better competitive options to do. With that being said, I hope you've all enjoyed this deck profile. I'll see you all in the next one, where we're into BT23, and who knows, it could be a Magnamon where we're maybe taking it seriously. I've got no idea what's coming next. I'll see you all in BT23, and until then, adios.